Are you ready? Here we go. Can you feel it? It's time for football. Get ready for Virginia football.
Welcome, everybody, to our Virginia Cavalier football preview show. Getting ready for the start of the 2026 season. Evan Lepler with my co-host, Wes Bryant. Wes, this Virginia team is coming off a historic and memorable season. Tony Elliott brought the Cavaliers to Charlotte for the ACC Championship game. A heartbreaker in the final moments against Duke in that title game. But Virginia, a lot to build off of as they try to do even bigger things in 2026.
A lot to build off of is correct, because those 11 wins were the most in school history, and the 3 losses they had were by 7 points or fewer. So just think about just how close they came. But he's going to have his work cut out for him this year, will Coach Tony Elliott, because they've got 30 transfers coming in. You lose Chandler Morris at quarterback, so you've got a lot to replace there for the Cavaliers. But they've got a lot of talent there, and they've got a lot of great momentum to continue building.
And you think about what Tony Elliott has been through, all the adversity both on and off the field. Just 11 wins in his first 3 seasons, but then they get 11 wins, a school record last year. And the question is, can he continue that? Is this who Virginia is now going forward?
Well, we're going to find out, and that's the beautiful part about all of this, Evan, because I said with all of the transfers coming in, and you have to replace a lot of key pieces at a lot of premium positions, including the quarterback position. They've got Eli Holstein and Beau Pribula coming in as transfers, and so we're going to get a chance to not only see how well you can replenish talent, but how well you can develop that talent, because now the fans are going to be expecting, and coaches will always tell you there's nothing more challenging than when expectations get placed upon a team. This is not the Virginia team that's going to catch teams slipping now. They're going to be coming in and have the marker drawn on them now. And people saying, hey, we want to take out Virginia because they're one of the best teams in the conference.
And they open the season against NC State, not in Brazil like was originally planned, but that'll be in Charlottesville at the end of August. There have been situations in the past where Virginia's had multiple quarterbacks look really good throughout the season. Obviously, they'd love to have one guy start all 12 games and be the man. But with Pribula and Holstein, they got 2 guys with experience being pretty successful.
They do, and that's the thing. Both of these guys have played a lot of football, so it should be, a good competition. But at the end of the day, like they said, if you have 2 quarterbacks, you have none. So I'm sure Coach Elliott wants to be able to find a guy for this team to settle and rally behind like they had in Chandler Morris last season.
What other transfers are on your radar as guys that could be impact playmakers this fall for the Cavaliers?
Well, the big thing that they had to do was they had to go out and find some receiving talent for those quarterbacks to be able to throw to. They go out and get guys like Rico Flores Jr. from UCLA, Deshaun Martin from Kent State, Jaquan Gibson from UMass. So they go and get those guys, and also Jaquel Middlebrooks, who put the middle in Middle Tennessee State when he was there. He ran for over 700 yards as well. So a lot of that help is going to be expected to contribute right away.
Last year in their run to Charlotte, the defense made a lot of clutch plays along the way. This year, they return a couple starters on their defensive line, a bunch of new faces. Can they replicate their defensive success from a season ago?
Well, they can, but the question is, will they be able to do that? That's always the challenge, is just keeping consistency with your talent. And just because you get a lot of the same guys back doesn't mean that they're going to play the same in the next season. But this Virginia team, they're one of the best in the country on third down defense and third down offense, and I'm sure they're going to want to keep that going. So there's going to be a lot to be relied upon from this defense as well.
One thing that stood out as well from Virginia's 2025 season, more often than not, they jumped on opponents early. They outscored opponents in the first quarter, 107-42. That's a great way to play from in front and be able to really attack with that mindset.
Yeah, because you change the calculus of how the other team is thinking. Teams can have a game plan, but if you come in and you put them down by multiple scores early, then things have to change just a little bit. You may start to panic, or teams just may start to go into some things that they didn't want to because they're desperate for points. And so they certainly will want to keep that going this year as well. There's nothing like a fast start to help a team get great momentum.
The vibe from Virginia coming into the season, what is your sense of the chance they have of doing what they did last year and taking it another step further?
Just so much unknown, Evan, because we're in the era where these rosters, they get flipped so much. And so Virginia's got 8 starters back, only 3 offensively. And so with those 30 transfers coming in, we've seen with some transfer classes, teams bring them in and they lead them to glory where they're excellent from the jump. But then sometimes you get a bad batch. And so that's the thing. You just never know. It's the same thing with freshman classes as well. But with Virginia, they've shown a knack for being able to find talent. And so I'm thinking that a lot of these transfers will be able to come in and continue that culture that Tony Elliott has established there.
Yeah, at the top of the Virginia pyramid, they got a really special leader in Tony Elliott. Came from Clemson, obviously, and he has built this program up with his entire heart and spirit. And we will be joined by Coach Elliott as our Virginia football preview continues right after this. Our Virginia football preview show continues, and we are delighted to be joined by Tony Elliott, the head coach of the Cavaliers. After a historic season last year, ACC Coach of the Year honors in the championship game in Charlotte. What's it like building off of that season, Coach, compared to the 3 previous years you had?
Man, it feels like that was 2 years ago. Like it's been a long off season, a lot of just stuff that comes with it. I'm really just excited to get back to work with the guys and see what work they've done when nobody's been looking, with the coaches away, and help them just figure out what their identity is going to be for this 2016.
Coach, you brought in 30 transfers this past offseason. So what were the objectives of this particular class? What were you looking for the most?
Yeah, so each year it's a little bit different, right? So your needs are different. We had to really replace some dynamic players at wideout. Needed to beef up the running back room, solidify some depth on the edges, and address just some of the issues we had on the back end. So we had some specific needs, and then after that is what's best available, right? And so, part of kind of where we are, unfortunately, with the transfer portal is what you're maybe not able to get in high school one year, you maybe can get the next year, right? So we found some young, talented guys that we felt like we might not have been able to get the class before from a high school standpoint, but we were able to bring them in, in the transfer portal to compete, but then if not, be really, really good competitive depth for us.
Your quarterback position obviously anchored by the transfer portal as well. You're bringing Beau from Mizzou and Eli from Pitt. You've named Beau Pribula your starter. What have you seen from him? What do you like most about Beau as you bring him to Charlottesville?
First of all, it was great competition, and then you throw in Cole Gear, who was in our program, and let those 3 guys really battle it out in the spring, and they all did a really, really good job. And I think it was necessary for us to have direction going into the off season, where just the players are around. It's very difficult if you don't have somebody in that position. So based off the body of work, we felt like Beau was in the lead seat. And what I've seen since then is just really him kind of letting his hair down as a leader and really go in and try to galvanize both sides of the locker room. It's difficult when you're in a battle, right? You're really just trying to battle and focus on what you're doing with your side of the ball, your position group. But over the last couple of months, he's been able to really, focus on engaging with the defensive guys to be able to lead the entire team. I think his skill set speaks for itself. You've been able to see that on display when he was at Mizzou and when he was at Penn State. Very dynamic athlete. But what I'm intrigued with is just his desire and passion to want to really, really grow as a pocket passer and really, grasp different concepts offensively to prepare him as a quarterback.
Coach, walk us through the process. What's it like when you have so many new faces in premium places, especially like at quarterback, that weren't a part of what you guys did last year? How do you go about trying to keep that culture going and trying to continue to build on that?
Yeah, and so I'll just give you an example, right? So, the first 3 years, we won 11 games. So there was no postseason, there was no rings, there was nothing. Well, this year we got a bowl ring. So now I got to figure out, when am I going to give the bowl ring to the players, right? Well, the only time that I can give it to them is when everybody's together. So now I'm giving out bowl rings, and I don't have rings for guys that weren't there, right? So now I got to spin that as this is a reward from last year and motivation for you guys to go get us one next year. So it's really a balancing act, right? Because, I don't want to talk about last year a ton because there's a bunch of new guys, but at the same time, I need everybody to understand what made the guys successful last year was the commitment to the process. So I think the way that I approach it is focus more on the process, big picture, and not so much individual things from last year, but just things that will help the team collectively. And then also try not to compare all these new guys and this new group to the team that we had last year.
I was just going to ask you to compare this year's. No, I'm just kidding. but what is the vibe of this year's team? Coming out of spring ball, the offseason, it's a new group, I'm sure, a new personality. How would you characterize what this team is like as a whole?
I think they're excited. We got some guys that are hungry. Expectations around the building and in the locker room are where they need to be. And when I say expectations, it's how do we leave the locker room when we're done working out? How do we clean up the dining hall when we're done eating? What do things look like? How do they feel? Is it consistent with the results that we want in the end?
Coach, I was going to ask you too, when you talk about this new group, just as far as you guys coming out this year, what do you expect from them, just from a cultural standpoint, to be able to come out and start fast as well?
So our team identity, we say we want to be a fit football team, FIT, fast, intelligent, tough. And so that's the expectation, is that whenever we step on the grass, when people watch us, they can say, man, those guys play fast, they play smart, and they're tough. So really that's what the expectation of how we play. And then who they become, in total, that's up to them. I think I know what I would like to see, but at the end of the day, I'm not the one on the grass, right? All I can do is help them foster the chemistry and energy that they have together to become the best version of themselves. So I don't have an expectations of wins and losses, other than when we step on the grass, this is how we play as a team.
Coming up in just a couple of minutes, we're going to talk to Beau, Pribula, and Cam Robinson, who I understand is on his way back from his ACL injury and on track to maybe even play in the opener. What's it been like watching Cam go through the grind of rehab and the leadership he's shown in that regard?
Yeah, it's bittersweet, right? Because, man, here's a guy that for the last couple of years has laid everything on the line for our program, right? And to be there as he's getting ready to get wheeled in for surgery, and just to see the sheer hurt of a young man on the front end of an injury, but then now to see him have persevered through just the mental anguish, the physical anguish, and to be on the cusp of getting back to doing what he loves. And now you see the joy just coming back to his personality. So it's bittersweet, because, man, you gotta persevere through those tough times in the beginning, knowing that you're going to get to these sweet times. And man, I'm excited for him, because we're a better football team when he's out there running around.
Coach, last thing I got for you is, you've been at Virginia for 5 years now, and your journey, man, you've seen a lot and you've been through a lot. So how would you categorize your journey as you come into year 6, especially coming off of all the success that you had in year 5?
Yeah, it's a journey, right? I think that the way I would say is to keep the focus on the journey and understand that the journey is greater than the destination, right? Because one of the destinations was to get to Charlotte to play in an ACC Championship game, and that's come and gone. But we're still on the journey, right? And then maybe there's another destination stop that comes back here to Charlotte, right? So it's really just focusing on the growth and taking advantage of the moment and celebrating the small victories on the way.
I wanted to ask you about all the off-season time you spent learning Portuguese, which turned out not to be all that valuable. But we're out of time, Coach. So, Tony Elliott, we wish you the best of luck starting in Charlottesville and not Brazil, and wish you the best of luck as you try to get back to Charlotte for another championship game. Thanks so much, Coach.
Appreciate y'all. Thank you.
That's Tony Elliott, the head coach of the Virginia Cavaliers. We'll be back on our Virginia football preview right after this. Rolling along on our Virginia football preview show, we are delighted to be joined by Beau Pribula, new quarterback, Cam Robinson back on the defense for Virginia. Beau, let's start with you. You've had quite a college football journey from Happy Valley to the Show Me State at Mizzou. What's it like coming to Charlottesville and taking the helm for the Cavaliers?
It's been great. You know, each town I was at was cool, but Charlottesville's been really good to me so far, and just couldn't be happier to be at UVA.
I would ask you guys each, so Beau, what's it been like for you coming into Virginia off of the success that they had last year? And then for Cam, how's it been for you being the veteran, working in the new guys and kind of bringing them into the Virginia culture?
I would say for me, just being a newcomer after last year's success, just kind of maintaining the mindset of, you know, that is the standard. You know, that's what we want. That's what our mindset should be. But at the same time, last year's team is not this year's team. You know, we have to be the best version of 2026 Virginia football. So just taking one day at a time, just trying to get better each day.
Yeah, and I would say, like, as far as like the transfers coming in, I feel like everybody getting with it right for real. We just be talking about like how guys gotta just standard. Like we got some here that we got going, and we just try to keep building off that every year. So I just say, like, guys coming in, they respect the young guys, they learning, everybody getting it down.
Cam, we were just talking with Coach Elliott a little bit about the journey you've been on since the injury and the surgery and the grind you've been on to get back and the possibility you could be ready to go for the opening game against NC State. What has this experience battling through this adversity been like for you?
I say it's been definitely ups and downs. Like I said, like my first 3 months was probably like the hardest because I couldn't really see no light. Like I just got hurt, team lost, so I'm just like in my own head. And then I just had to start telling myself, like, I'm going to get out of this. Like, I'm going to come back better than what I was. I mean, believe it or not, but I know what I believe. So that's what I've just been telling myself. Like, we just got to keep going.
Cam, has the mood around the program become one of, you know, you guys don't feel like hunters anymore and you feel like everybody's now going to be shooting for you guys because of how good you were last season?
Nah, we still hunting. Like, we hunting. We ain't playing no defense. We straight, we getting after guys. Like, we coming out. We trying to win every game again this year. We still got that target that we got to go get, and we couldn't get it done last year, but that's the goal for this year.
I mean, Beau, what's it been like for you being around Tony Elliott for the first time? You've played around a lot of coaches, but Tony's a special guy, and he leads in his own way.
He is a special guy. He's a real, genuine coach. Has a long lineage of success, especially offensively. Coached really, really good quarterbacks. So anything that he has to say, I'm all ears from him.
Beau, you guys have a lot of new faces on offense, especially at the skill position. So what's that been like for you trying to get on the same page with those guys, and what have you seen from the offense from your perspective?
Spring ball is huge, you know, just trying to get that relationship down with the receivers and trying to figure out, you know, how each of their personalities are, you know, on the field, the way that they are as receivers. And then really I think a turning point this summer has been, you know, mid-June. There was a bit of a turning point where, you know, the coaches are away and it's up to us to do, you know, player-led OTAs, and that was big for us to kind of know what our mindset is and what our, you know, our DNA is going to be as an offense and as a team. And I think the leadership showed up, and I think that we're starting to figure out what kind of team we're going to be.
Cam, I know you were still grinding your way back, rehabbing, but you had a front row seat to the quarterback battle in the spring. What was it like for you to watch, you know, one returner, two newcomers come in and battle for this leader position?
I think it was definitely an experience. I feel like it can help both of these guys in like the long run. Like they both was battling for a spot, so nobody just gave a job. So them coming to work every day puts a lot of, I say, like, it does great for the program. It's great for the program.
And Beau, for you, what have you taken from your previous stops that you feel like now at Virginia I can just put everything together and show everybody what Beau Pribula is all about?
I think really just experience. You know, I've learned a lot from between my time at Penn State and what my role was there, and then finally being a starting quarterback in the SEC. And you know, I've been there, I've done that. You know, I've have experience, and just taking, you know, my process and mentally and physically, what it takes week in, week out to being starting quarterback and a good starting quarterback. Just taking that, into my final year.
Cam, what do you view as the keys to the season for you to replicate and maybe even surpass the success that y'all had last year?
Preparation, definitely preparation. Probably got to get more discipline. We got a bunch of transfers, so guys, like I said, we still got to learn the standard. But I feel as though we're heading in a good spot where we want to be at.
And Cam, what do you feel like that guys took away from that ACC championship experience?
That it hurt. It hurt. Losing real hurt. That's where we wanted to be at, and that's where we ended up at. But we couldn't pull out on top. So guys took that one under the chin, and we wouldn't think about that all summer and all fall.
All right, before we wrap it up, a couple quick hits for each of you. Want both your answers. You prefer night game or noon kickoff?
Night game.
Night game.
Home uniforms or away uniforms?
Home uniform.
Away. I like that all white. Yeah, I like that
that's
white.
good.
Yeah.
Blowout win or a last-second field goal win?
I prefer a blowout win every time.
Yeah, blowout. Sure, blowout.
All right, last thing I got, early season or late season bye week?
Late season bye week.
Late season.
Game that's really hot or game that's really cold?
Really hot.
Cold. Give me that cold, bro.
All right, well, you'll enjoy September. You'll enjoy
Yeah,
November.
for sure.
Gentlemen, we wish you the best of luck all season. Thanks so much for being a part of our show, and we will see you in the fall.
Thank you.
That's Beau
Thanks for having
Pribula
us.
and Cam Robinson. Virginia football preview will wrap up right after this. Back to wrap up our Virginia football preview. Wes, this Virginia team had a magical run last year, and they have bigger dreams in 2026. And they've got a somewhat advantageous schedule to put them in a pretty good spot.
Yeah, but from a roster standpoint, this is going to be one of Tony Elliott's biggest challenges, in my opinion. 30 transfers, including having to replace the quarterback position. And so for Coach Elliott, we're going to see what Elliott and this staff can do to be able to bring these guys in, get them up to speed, get them into the culture, and then have them go out on the field and execute. So I think it's going to be one of the bigger storylines in the ACC. Can Virginia either stay where they were, be slightly worse, or will they take a precipitous drop with so many new guys?
Curious, what were your takeaways from spending a few minutes with Beau Pribula, a guy who's got a lot of experience in playing high-level college football, the Big Ten and the SEC. Now he comes into the ACC.
Well, this feels like a guy that obviously he wants to be a Virginia Cavalier, and he's happy to be there, and he's excited about the opportunity that he has. He's got other guys that he has to learn with, so he doesn't just feel like the new guy. He's got plenty of receivers that have to get up to speed with this offense, running backs as well, so that can make you feel a little bit more comfortable as a player when you know that everybody is learning together. And so that's why I think that Beau Pribula feels like a guy that is comfortable and just excited to go out and show what he can do.
And wasn't it cool hearing Tony Elliott talk about the journey Cam Robinson's been on from injuring his knee against Duke? I mean, he had a collarbone injury the year before, and yet he's on the verge of going from that surgery in November to opening day in August. It's pretty unbelievable.
Well, I still remember when Tony Elliott first walked in here when Cam Robinson first started playing for him, and he was saying how, man, he was just hoping to hold on to him because he felt that special about him. And so now for him to be coming back from injury, he's been on a long journey. And so I can't wait to see him get back on the field because he'll certainly be one of the ACC's best defensive players.
All right, Virginia last won an ACC championship, 1995. They were so close last December. Maybe this is the year they can get it done in the Queen City. Thanks so much for tuning in to our Virginia Cavalier football preview, getting ready for the 2026 season. For my broadcast partner, Wes Bryant, I'm Evan Lepler. Thanks so much for tuning in. Best of luck to the Cavaliers. Make sure you check out our previews for all the other ACC teams, and enjoy the season, everybody.